For example, how women would say, I'm independent. I can do this. I can take care of myself. I can buy my own car. I can get my own money. I can get my own this. So what are you going to do for me? And they expect them to come to the table with something more on top of those things for her. Because if you can't give me more than what I'm giving myself, then I don't need you.
I did have a question though, but I wanted the ladies to start out with it though. Um, is independence a skill or a shield?
It could be both. And it's going to be subjective which way the woman leans towards, if she's sure in the middle or if she goes more hyper dependent or on the other spectrum. Um, when you say independence, I don't want that to be like I said, hyper independent, like I don't need a man. I don't think that's what you mean. I think you just mean like, am I self sufficient? I'm able to take care of myself, and I'm still open to a man taking care of me. I'm still open to the concept of a relationship and submission. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that's what you all would expect your woman to be able to stand on her own. You just don't want her to stand too strong to where she's not able to yield to you. Um, so she could use it as a shield again. And I think we had that conversation before. Sometimes our identity is wrapped in how well we take care of ourselves and our self sufficiency. So sometimes relationships can uh they can push you right to grow in ways that sometimes you're not used to, and it can be scary to do that, and so sometimes that shield is not that I don't want you, it's just I'm so used to doing things on my own. To allow somebody else to do that, it's kind of scary, because it's always a 50-50 that they may not successfully do it, and again, that's why we spoke about earlier, like if you're really going to be in love with somebody and go all in, you have to release that fear and just you got to go with it. So I'm gonna land my plane. I think it again is subjective based on a woman.
Is independence a skill or a shield?
Ooh, a shield. Um, I have definitely been guilty of using it as a shield because I find that people are not reliable. I find that people use your use you being able to need other people as a weapon a lot of times. Like they can use it to control you. I'll do it when I get to it. You need me, I don't need you, stuff like that. So I feel like for me in particular, because of my past, it's been used as a shield. So
I actually agree with Pearl and Bo to a certain degree. I think it is circumstantial and it depends on the person. But I think a lot of women nowadays, especially if they come from single parent households, right, where the woman is leading that home, they use independence as a shield, right, because they're taught that. They're taught by their independent mother who was forced right into independence to a certain degree to be independent and to find a way to live on your own and take care of yourself, because for one, you didn't grow up with a man in the home, so you automatically have a mindset that you can't necessarily depend on a man because you don't know what that looks like, right? And then you're constantly being taught that you have to be strong and you have to be out there and taking care of yourself just in case you end up in that same situation. So I think, unfortunately, nowadays, it's more of a shield, but it can also be a skill, just based off of what Pearl was stating, right? Because I always think it's good for women to know how to take care of their day-to-day things on their own, how to get things on their own. But like she stated, it's a balance of understanding when you no longer have to be that independent and when you can rely and be dependent on your partner in the relationship that you're in. But unfortunately, a lot of women nowadays have to learn that because it wasn't taught, because it wasn't experienced. So they're literally surviving off of independence, not thriving in it. So.
I think both. I mean, obviously, independence is a skill I think everybody should possess, but as far as today, I think that when you experience things and they may not go your way, it turns into a shield. Or if you are raised a certain way, and let's just say you're raised in an environment where, a lot of trauma can lead to it being a shield. I think today it is more of a shield than it is. I don't want to take the skill out. It's a skill, period. However, the shield part comes in through experience, so to speak. I think, especially today, I think a lot of people don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be, maybe they've experienced certain things and their independence is like, I don't have to deal with that. Like, I'm okay on my own. But yeah, I would say both.
So I wouldn't say that it's a skill. I
Definitely
think it's a state of being. Either you are or you're not. When you're in a place of independence, that means you can take care of yourself. So it's a state of being. But as on the shield side of it, I believe it's a shield and a weapon. It's a shield in a way that women, that specifically women, because they're the only ones that do this for the most part, it's used to shield themselves from relationships. So they utilize their independence to say, I don't need relationship. I don't want to be in that. So that's in that aspect. But it's used as a weapon oftentimes to say, I'm independent. So here's what you can do for me. And it's a way of I don't know if coerce is the right word for it, but or guilt men or whatever to do for them. How women would say, Shan, like for example, how women would say, I'm independent. I can do this. I can take care of myself. I can buy my own car. I can get my own money. I can get my own this. So what are you gonna do for me? And they expect them to come to the table with something more on top of those things for her. Because if you can't give me more than what I'm giving myself, then I don't need you.
I think I look that way because I think that both men and women and men alike, maybe they don't use those words, say those things nowadays.
You've never heard a man say, I'm independent, therefore I don't need a
I say they don't use those words. You're right. I've never heard that. But I have heard men say, basically, I do these things for myself. What can you bring to me? I never heard it before the internet, but in
no. Fair. You have it, but that is recent. That is a recent phenomenon.
I got something to say on it. I would say independent is not a skill in terms of looking at it from a woman. For a woman, not from a woman. Excuse me. Pause. I would say it is a burden to be able to for a woman to maintain independence in this society. I don't believe society is set up. The end game for a woman being independent is not set up for a woman. A large number of them don't dawn into them. The humility don't come until, in one case, they have kids, and then they start to notice that they need to depend on somebody so they can continue to work and bring in resources to stabilize their lifestyle. So they may just need a man. Actually, it might just dawn in. In the extreme cases, it dawns in when it's time to retire, when it's time to hang up the uniform. A growing number of women are not even able to sustain themselves, their lifestyle, and they have to rely on Social Security because they don't have the retirement. And just going through life and not building a family, not having any kids, you can run the risk of unaliving alone and nobody noticing that you passed away until your mailbox overflow and your corpse start decomposing from the streets, the smell of it. And then you see elderly people starting to waste over without any family. They haven't made any time to build a family, build a connection with anybody. So there's some extreme cases that are likely to happen the older she get. And then in between a middle age or whenever she's getting ready to have kids, there's a humbling period that she'll go through. But the burden of maintaining independence for a woman is something that we could speak to, and I'll yield.
But would that take the skill out of it? It would still be a skill, right?
The skill, I
Even
think
if it's uncomfortable, it's still.
I would say
Be a skill.
I think independence
I
is a
don't
life
think that
skill.
I don't think it's natural. I think that it's for women at least. You're right. So if it becomes a skill, like it's something she has to work towards because maybe for whatever reason she's not with the mate, right?
the reason why I don't think it's a skill, because I think the way we created the infrastructure, look at that as a video game. We lowered the difficulty level for women to be able to play the game on easy mode with all of the movements, all of the effects, all of the modifications we made for them to insert themselves and gain independence. They will never be able to witness the degree of difficulty that man have to play on in the same video game. So for us to say it is a skill, they would have to go out and start life on the same degree of difficulty with no help, no aid, no none of that, no idea of a safety net catching them and all this other stuff whenever they fail. No coddling, no what do they call it? Affirmative actions, no bills, no college fundings, so they can have a specific education or they can have a upper hand and whenever they want to pursue different degrees and making room for them on the executive level so they can work alongside men that are making 400, 500,000 without necessarily showing the same amount of qualifications as their counterparts. Until you can do that, then we can test whether they have the skill.
Yeah, I think so independence as a concept, yes, it's a life skill, but I think independence as a social status or something that you proclaim is either rooted specifically in fear of not being able to get what you want, or a fear of not being hurt and not wanting to relive that. And a lot of people they wear it as a badge of honor when really it's like the I'm taking my ball and going home version of dating. You know what I'm saying? It's the I don't even want to participate because I'm independent. Like I don't need nobody. But really you do want somebody. You would love to have somebody, but you either can't get the person you want, you're afraid of what you would get, or it's something that's not hitting on the cylinder right there, in my personal opinion.